Man, I hate whistle pigs so much.
Dude, speaking of, there's a couple right over there. You see them?
Oh, sick.
Hey, check it out, though. That thing's going to absolutely blow them up.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. They literally explode.
17 HMR blows them up?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Russia and Ukraine, Gaza and Israel. In a time of turmoil and uncertain facts, who can you trust? Well, you can trust Garand Science. We always present to you real science, real facts 100% of the time. Today we're going to be talking about the 17 HMR. Well, what is 17 HMR? 17 HMR is an extremely great varminting round used all throughout the United States. It is rimfire just like 22, but unlike 22, this little guy packs some real punching power. Now, a lot of people have asked us, we've obviously done a video on the lethality of 22. What about the lethality of 17 HMR? What is 17 HMR? What does it do when it's shot at a human being or something close enough to a human being? Today on Garand, we found out all of that as we delve into very tough science. Now, of course, this content is free. Obviously, you have to pay for our internet, but you don't have to pay for our content. This content is kept free by the biggest sponsor of the channel, who is Primary Arms. If you're looking for a great optic, great pistol optics, whatever you may want, they actually have it all. And even better, we're now in November, which means Santa and his little Primary Arms elves are working on your present, maybe, if you were good. Santa Claus sees all, so go ahead and email them, ask them if you're on Santa's naughty list. We'll see what they say. Probably drop us from sponsorships, which would be very sad for us. Please don't let that happen. Guys, if you're looking to be more American, we of course have Henry Repeating Arms. We're actually using a Henry Repeating Arms for this particular video, and we love them so much. They are made in America or not made at all in a time when everything's made in Taiwan or China. This feels good. In addition to that, they have everything you could possibly want, so give them a bunch of love. And of course, go check out Henry Thumb. We can't talk much about it other than to say, man, is it a surprise for you guys. And of course, if you want to become a better shooter, Mantis will turn your weapon into a dry fire machine. And my employees have stolen all my Mantis products. And finally, all ammunition is provided for by AAC. Let's get into it, 17 HMR. Now, we're going to be using two main rounds when it comes to the 17 HMR variety. First one is going to be the CCI TNT, which is a jacketed hollow point. This ammunition is very well loved. And then, of course, we have the good old Horny VMAX. We love this stuff. And one thing to note is how light the actual slug is on the 17 HMR. So typically you have about a 17 grain round. That is tiny. But even better, they are pushing this round to insane velocities. Compare this to 22, which typically has a speed of barely over subsonic, which is about 1,200 to 1,300. You do have faster rounds. The 17 HMR is really pushing it. So first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and test the velocity of these 17 HMR rounds. First thing we're going to fire is going to be the Hornady VMAX, and then we'll fire the CCI TNT 17 hammer. So let's go ahead, let's give this first one a shot. This isn't too loud, so ear pro, I'm already deaf. All right, that first round from the Horny was 2582. That is ridiculously fast. We are approaching AR-15 velocities, depending on barrel length, over AR-15 velocities. They say this is a very flat varminting round. You can see with that speed, just gonna go straight and just, what will it do to a whistle pig? Blow it up. Next one's gonna be the CCI. That one was traveling just a smidge under 2,600 feet per second. These rounds are cooking. This is like baby's first AR-15 right here. So there's nothing left to do other than to start to do our actual ballistic testing. What we have here is we have our ballistic gel, which is going to replicate the FBI testing. Now, we want to see about 12 inches of penetration for actual human damage. These are not meant to hunt humans, but you know, stranger things have happened. You never know what you're going to run into when you're out varminting. What's happened to you when you've been out varminting, Preston?
Got attacked by a grizzly bear, so.
Did you really?
No.
Well, the first rule of within the Air Force is integrity. So I don't know what to tell you right now. So we'll shoot ballistic gelatin with both 17 HMR, then we'll fire one of a 22 round to see how it compares. Then we have the famous Paul Harrell meat targets, which we're very excited about. We've improved these with a bag of oranges. which is a thing. And then finally, we have a pretty jacked up ballistic dummy that we'll be shooting into to approximate human tissue. It is not a human. It is not real, which is why Preston can be close to it, because Preston's been banned from a lot of things. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Now, of course, one thing we have talked about is going to be the Phantom. We have a $500,000 Phantom TMX 7510. This guy will push well over 1 million frames a second. Today we're going to be having it at 110,000 frames a second, which is ridiculous. This is going to be going so slow. I don't got anything good, but it's going to be slow. It's going to be very slow. Stop following me. Stop following me with the camera. I'm done. I want to be done. All right, as we load in our 17 HMR, you know, why are lever action so fun? All right, ready? Good?
Yep.
Whew. You see that smoke come off that? Yeah, you're about to see it. All right, so we got this. Look at that explosion that you had in there. That is violent. Those poor little varmints. Now, as a human, I still wouldn't want to get shot by it, but that's going to do something, I'm pretty sure. What do you think when we shoot the actual meat?
I think that ought to do it.
So that right there is a CCI 17 HMR, the TNT round, and yeah, there was definitely a little bit of spice to that round. That as that temporary cavity shrunk in and compressed all that oxygen, you saw that great explosion in there. That is violence right there in a human body, or especially in a polo squirrel. So far what we're seeing is, you can see why this is such a great round for varminting. Let's continue to do the test and see how the next round does, and then we'll start testing some meat targets. Let's get this done. Preston's now putting up the ballistic gel for the second 17 HMR shot. Look how clear that is. Just a real master at work.
Do my best.
Oh, cool. And you'll sure, do you surf?
I went to California
Name every surfer.
Once. Chicken Joe, Cody.
Thank you for your service.
So this is the polymer tip VMAX right here. VMAX rounds from Hornady do extremely well. The 5.56 VMAXs we've used have been exceptionally violent. So what it is you have this little polymer tip, one for feeding, but then also the polymer tip works ballistically once inside a body by pushing back and helping the round to disintegrate, open up. So I'm very interested to see how this little 17 HMR VMAX performs. Let's find out. 17 HMR VMAX from good old Horny. That was louder. Oh my God, look at that, dude. That's wild. Do you see that? You see all those little fragments that have just yawed off? That's exceptionally violent. You know, tiny rounds traveling at extremely fast velocities, deadly to humans, deadly to rock chucks and whistle pigs. So clearly the 17 HMR does lack the penetration that you see from rounds that are designed for human beings. That being said, the violence with which they disperse their energy has been exceptional. I'm very impressed so far with the performance that we're seeing. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna compare it to the good old 22, which is another rimfire, which everybody knows and loves. It's 22 long rifle. And this is your basic, you know, just big box ammunition sword 22. So not much to write home about. Let's see how it performs. And from there, we'll move on to the meat targets and finally a live freaking human. I'm just kidding. We can't do a live human. We'll talk to JD Vance, though. Someone got really mad about that. They're like, oh, trying to make fun of JD Vance. I'm like, quite the contrary. All the respect to the man. That's why we're asking him. I'm pretty sure he's the only one that can make it happen.
Makes sense to me.
Thank you. 22 long rifle fired from a Henry repeating arms. Lever action. Made in America or not made at all. That's too on the nose. Oh well. All right, ready? Still good performance. Not bad. It traveled actually a little bit deeper than 17 HMR overall, but obviously much less expansion and violence. Interesting. I mean, it's even compared to like the normal jacketed hollow point, I kind of expected difference. Like, I didn't expect it to penetrate as deeply. Let's go 22. That's awesome. You know, I'm continually surprised by how good 22 just kind of performs at everything. It's like not great, but like, gosh dang, it does pretty good. All right. And here's the slug right there. It recovers. Ooh. Here we are. Look at that little guy. 0 deformation. I thought there'd be more being lead. You can lick that if you want. That's actually good for you. Think about, you know, the boomer generation, how well adjusted they are now that they're older. That's because of all the lead that they've been exposed to. It's good for you. We got Preston right here putting together our meat targets. Preston, you want to tell us a little bit about these meat targets?
Yeah, so check it out. We got ourselves a fine bag of oranges to represent, you know, lungs and such. Got ourselves a rack of ribs right here to represent the rib cage. Then we got a girthy piece of peck right here.
This guy's been hitting the trend, working out. You know, your assailant is a gym goer. He takes raw milk. He's ready.
Guy benches like 425 on a bad day, so.
It's more than me. So now we have our meat targets up. Big thank you to the Harrell Brothers in Arms who allowed us to do this. We talked to Paul about it after Paul's passing. We've been fortunate enough to continue to talk to Roy Harrell, his brother, and he's allowed us to continue the legacy of doing meat targets. So, as always, big shout out to Paul Harrell for pioneering this, and we're going to try to continue the tradition. We're not quite as advanced as him, but we're getting there. So, let's go ahead. Let's see how this would potentially do on a human if you're to shoot, and then we'll use the Ballistic Dummy Lab to visualize a little bit differently right after this. So, first up is going to be the CCI hollow point. Let's give it a shot. All right, we have 17 HMR CCI hollow points. Let's give it a shot. I was dead on. That was like right where it should have been. Perfect. Let's take a look at where they got right here. Okay, we did not exit, so I smell orange, which means I believe it made it into the lungs. So let's go ahead, let's cut this open. Let's see what kind of damage we got. We'll go from there. Now, I wish you guys could be here because it smells so good. It smells vaguely orangey, you know, orange zesty. So let's go ahead and let's start. We'll cut this open right here. And we'll see. There's our entrance right there through the skin, i.e. duct tape. Okay. All right, we have that nice little entrance wound right there. You guys see it? Let's go ahead and take a look what it looks like. Oh my God. Do you see that?
Oh,
Jesus. Okay, and then it went straight through the ribs right here, exited very nicely. Actually, you can feel little pieces of the jacket in there, and pieces of the bone as it shot through. Very excellent performance so far. Then entered our oranges right here, which are our lung tissues, of course. Let's see where this round ended up. Look at that. Some collateral damage down there as the round was shredding open. So this is really interesting. Oh, look, there's a piece of the jacket right there. Oh, yeah. There's a piece. So the problem with finding the actual slug is that even this hollow point right here is just opening up. But what we saw is we had so many pieces that were breaking apart as they were going through. It looks like it actually disintegrated, and we have small holes in every single one of these oranges right here. So it just kind of detonated on an impact as it went through all that. So it's still very effective. So the thing that we'll say here is that, you know, while it definitely lacked some of the penetrative qualities that we would have liked to seen in the clear ballistics gelatin, specifically we wanted about 12 inches of penetration, we are short of that. It does look like the penetration through actual tissue was quite good. So that's interesting to me because previously we've really relied on blocks and gelatin, but clearly Paul Harrell really knows what he's talking about because the meat targets are a better indicator of the actual ballistic performance. So that is for the jacketed hollow point. Let's go ahead, let's step it over to the VMAX. Let's see what type of performance we get with the VMAX. We'll go from there.
Mike has a friend on the shoulder.
Oh, what do I got? What is he?
Preston, we need our in-house biologist to identify this, please.
Dude, I have a degree in biology.
We got the little doohickey.
Yeah, that is definitely a doohickey.
What color is he?
Perhaps a thingamabob.
I didn't get that far in school. I don't know colors.
Okay, you know what? He's brown. All right, well, tell me where he is. I'll grab him. Where's he at?
Oh, a little bit further. Oh, he's running away.
I actually do have my degree in biology, FYI.
I believe that.
How is it doing for me? I'm a freaking scientist, aren't I? 17 HMR using the VMAX from Horny/Hornady. You know, that looks violent already. It looks like we had a pretty good shift in the meat, which kind of an expert at this point. Got a handy dandy SE4. This is actually Preston's, but you know, we gotta put it to use. You're gonna see a little pieces hanging out right here. So we have our entrance right here. Made our cut. Okay. So we have a nice little entry wound right there. Not much at first. Then completely exploded as it went through. And it looks like we have pieces of the actual VMAX projectile, the little plastic tip, all throughout here. Yeah, kind of smushed into that little piece of meat. Entered in through the ribs right here. And then, looks like we have a tiny exit, and we had a piece come out into the oranges right here. Let's see here. Yeah, not as violent as we saw from the jacketed hollow point. Oh yeah, and then look at that. Then we had this orange get just ripped open from a few shards, and then we have a big chunk right here. Again, this one in particular, the VMAXs are kind of hard to recover the entire slug, but we're getting a good amount of it. And yeah, we have a lot of that slug in here as little pieces of metal. Let's see if we got any more oranges in here. What's interesting is through a lot of them, you just have a very clean slice as like a shard from it goes through. Very energetic round. Okay, so that brings us to the end of what we've seen from those. Looks like we have all the oranges accounted for at this point, and we aren't seeing any further damage. So, pretty interesting, I think. I really did not think that the 17 HMR was going to perform all that well when it came to going through meat, but it actually did incredibly well. I think the better one was definitely the jacketed hollow point, and indeed probably an FMJ would do a little bit more with a little bit less ballistic performance, but I think the jacketed hollow point is a pretty good compromise. The VMAX definitely did what it was supposed to, which is when you're firing it into a small animal, it dumps all of its energy immediately and would blow that small animal apart. Now on this larger piece, obviously right here, you didn't see that as much. So one thing we'll do is we'll put up one of these little pork chops, stack them together and shoot it with the VMAX and watch it blow up. Then we'll move on to the ballistic dummy for fun and go from there.
Oh god.
Run across. Ready? Go.
Oh. Damn, he caught it.
VMAX versus a small critter. Oh, why is it so much fun? What are we even doing? Didn't that look like a ground squirrel or a whistle pig when you shot it in real life? You know what I mean? You know how they jump up a little bit when you nail them?
Yeah, they pop a little bit.
Yeah, they pop a little bit. Look at this guy. Now it's gonna be covered in junk, but that blew it the hell apart. I like how it's just like picking up random pieces of brass too. It's like our very own range cleanup right here. So right here we have one of our Ballistic Dummy Labs dummies. This one's a little bit older, however, it's still gonna suit its purpose. So what we're gonna be doing here is just for fun, because it's not exactly a great analog for humans. We'll be firing one of the jacketed hollow points right through the sternum to see what we're gonna get for fun. We'll finish it up there. We'll give you our final thoughts. Let's get this done. 17 HMR jacketed hollow point from CCI. Let's get a shot. Just looked completely underwhelming. Oh, there it is. Went straight through that sternum. Oh, it actually shattered that sternum. Never mind. That was actually somewhat energetic. Let's turn around. Looks like We had it stop in the body right there. It looks like it struck the spine and embedded in there. So it went through the sternum, through the upper portion of the heart and the ascending aorta, and you were dead. Well, that brings us to the end of our video on how deadly is a 17 HMR. So here's what we'll say. 17 HMR, very deadly. Is this the round you want to choose for hunting humans? Of course not. The real reason is that, well, it's lacking on range, it's lacking on penetrative qualities. Although it can hit the most vital parts of the human body when it gets a good shot, what you have to realize is due to the lack of depth or penetration, you're not always precisely shooting somebody head on. So an oblique shot where you have to go through more meat, such as the arm, etc., could make this a round that's just not going to perform very well. What we always recommend when it comes to defensive usage is that you carry the largest caliber that you can shoot well. For most people, this is 9mm, 40, 45, something like that. If you're going to be carrying a rifle, well, there's tons of better options in terms of rifle calibers, from 30-30 on a lever action, 45-70, and of course the 5.56, etc. But what we have seen is that in a pinch, is 17 HMR deadly? You damn right it is. But one thing that we do want to point out is the standout of today was at 22, performing incredibly well with all things being considered. Once again, we find that 22 is just a great round overall. But as we'll kind of end with here, both 17 HMR and 22 are not the preferred rounds to use for defensive use, despite the fact that 22 does make up a large percentage of murders that are committed simply because it's so ubiquitous and easy to get a hold of. So all that being said, guys, we appreciate you. We hope you had a good time seeing how deadly this kind of interesting varminting round is. If you're a varminter out there, go ahead and give us some stories of 17 HMR, how you've blown apart some different varmints out there. We always enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon. We play BF6. We post horrible clips of me. All of the greatest stuff that you could ever want, all on the Patreon. Go check it out. Guys, final thing is for you guys to give you a little bit of dad advice. Dad advice for today is don't forget to do a little bit of yoga. You know, it's good to kind of de-stress a little bit. It's going to be good for you. Preston, you ever done yoga?
Can't say that I have.
Sawyer?
One time.
Did you feel good?
I felt great after. Also, it's a lot harder than it looks.
It is.